So, Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance is a 2016 biographical memoir uh, book. It's very dramatic and dark, but has a very hopeful, very relatable message that is just super memorable. So, I highly recommend. I give it a 9 out of 10. And it's very insightful into pretty recent emerging sociological trends in the Rust Belt, and also, but that's relatable to any impoverished group of people in the West. Um, it's more up to date, and he's a good writer. It's told very to the point, nonchalant. This book's not too long, and it's not too boring. The most memorable part of it are his personal life story as example of a lot of the problems he's trying to like show and expose to try to help and give that message of like, I guess in a nutshell you could describe the book's central message as, well, kind of a two-parter. One, if you come from neglect and abuse and a dysfunctional family, you don't have to repeat bad family behaviors. um, you can break out of it if you get the right people around you and you work hard enough and learn to rely on people like and also, as a kid, all kids need a sort of mentor whose motive to be around them is to love them, and that can't be replaced by government. That's something that is a central core theme, and it's also the most memorable part of the whole book. The character of his hillbilly grandmother, Mama, and her insanity, and basically her stern, unbending loyalty to family. Sometimes it goes against modern social perceptions of what's moral and what's right under the law, which is always, ethically confusing. So basically, that makes the book a really fascinating, interesting, kind of entertaining story I did not expect it to become kind of a page turner. His life was, I would almost say, I don't want to say average, but like, I guess there's something extraordinary in the average um, life of a, I don't want to say a nobody, but someone who comes from absolute dejected poverty and generations of unfortunate conditions that he doesn't shy away from. So this book is just a gut punch of this hard hitting reality, and that makes the immersion top tier. I love stories that have some real substance to them, and no matter what it is, regardless of the politics or if it's got things that offend me, I want to be treated with an insight into perspectives I've never experienced before. So this book is just, there's some things you just can't fake. I'd say even the way he writes, because my over like OCD, slightly autistic mind over analyzes things. Just the cadence of the like his writing style, word choice. It seems as though this person has an ego and a personality that is built from shattered pieces, because there's never a point at which he seems to like cathartically emotionally process and judge his situations. It's almost as though he has a thin stream of PTSD throughout, trying to explain his past in a way that makes sense, because if he tried to compartmentalize it, it would just swallow itself. So the way he tells it feels like someone who is traumatized. And I'm straight up serious. You kind of have to read the whole book to know what I mean, and that can't really be faked, because there is that conspiracy side of my brain that thinks, oh well, vice president now, glosses over that 4 year gap in the military. What the rest of the book focuses on only what became foreign after the military, and his job in the military is representing military to news companies. I'm like, yeah, I see what's going on here. I see your connections, JD. But aside from the politics, aside from that, my conspiracy like leaning mindset, which I really don't really care about because I'm just here to focus on the book. It's There's some things you just can't fake, and that authenticity really humanizes this person. So this is one of the few people who's become more or less an elite politician now that I would be more apt to trust than a lot of other talking heads if I end up feeling like I want to start voting again. This isn't a commercial for JD or anything. I don't fully trust anyone in Washington anymore because of stuff, to make a long story short. But I'm not going on that political tangent. I just thought it was really interesting wanting to know, like, who is this guy? Why is this book popular? What's going on? Because this is an insight into that once sensational MAGA Trump movement that just took America by surprise. That was a fascinating part of history that I wanted to understand better. And so, yeah, that's huge insight into that and that whole movement. Because, will it come back? Is it dead? Like, where are we at now? I was kind of like not with it when I should have been, and I regret not being more political, seeing where the country is now and the problems we're facing and the division we're facing now. So, but it's never too late, right? So, anyways, but politics aside, this is a good success story that gives a lot of insight and builds empathy and sympathy for people struggling with a really good, relatable message that I would imagine a lot of people similar backgrounds to JD and myself even could relate to a lot to get hope. And also, I forgot the importance of knowledge being power and education as essential for changing, like owning your own destiny, owning your own fate, owning your own future. I wouldn't call this a self-help book. Even if you just read it as an interesting story, it totally works. Like, this is as interesting or as entertaining if you like drama and you just are interested by people like me, like characters and psychology and what motivates people and spirituality even. This is good enough as a good drama novel. I don't think J.D. Vance realizes that. Maybe. But anyways, it's not the most extraordinary or most entertaining book I've ever read. And there are, you could have shaved off a few pages of redundant opinions. It's not an amazing piece of writing, but it's a good enough writer and it's an interesting enough story. But the key word here that really sells it and makes it so damn memorable is authenticity. The authenticity is what makes it such a good book. There's little that I've said that a better, more talented critics and article reviewer people haven't wrote. But I just wanted to. My personal rule is I make a review video of everything I read, everything I'm interested in. So I'm going to remember this story. It's like burned into my brain. It's a very memorable, very personal, interesting insight into so many current cultural emerging problems that are bigger than partisan politics, that humanize, what I guess you could call the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of the American dream amongst people that have struggles, which in this day and age is freaking everyone. Doesn't matter your economic background. Everybody can relate to this story. So it's a really good book. It was much better than I thought it would be. I give it a 9 out of 10. Highly recommend Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance. Thank you.